Welcome back to Menopause Reimagined, the podcast where modern science meets timeless wisdom. I am Swati Madan, registered nutritionist, functional medicine practitioner, and founder of Nutritionist. Over the past 3 episodes, we have explored why menopause needs reimagining, how science and wisdom work together, and how our bodies communicate with us during this transition. Today, I'd like to explore something that, in my experience, is just as significant as the hormonal changes. It's something that many women feel but often struggle to put into words. A quiet shift, a gradual awakening, a feeling that the woman you've been for decades no longer quite fits. Not because she's wrong, but because you've outgrown her. Today's episode is called The Great Unbecoming. And no, this isn't about losing yourself. It's about gently letting go of the roles, expectations, and identities that no longer serve the woman you are becoming. Let me share a story that changed my thinking. I remember sitting with a client in her early 50s. She had come to see me because she was struggling with fatigue, weight gain, and poor sleep. But as we talked, the conversation actually drifted away from food, away from hormones, away from symptoms. Instead, she quietly said something I'll never forget. I have spent my whole life becoming the woman everyone needed me to be. Then she paused. I don't actually know who I am without those roles. That sentence stayed with me forever because I realized she wasn't only grieving the body she had only once known. She was grieving an identity she had spent decades building. And perhaps many women experience something similar. We spend our lives becoming. Think about it. As little girls, many of us learn to be good, to be polite, to be helpful, to make people happy. As we grow older, we become daughters, students, professionals, partners, mothers, caregivers, wives, managers, friends, business owners, community leaders. We become so many things. And many of these roles are very beautiful, meaningful, deeply fulfilling. But over time, something subtle can happen. Our identity becomes built around what we do for other people instead of who we truly are. Interestingly, science tells us that menopause isn't only about changing our reproductive organs, it's changing multiple systems within the body. Sleep changes, energy changes, stress response changes, our recovery changes, the nervous system changes. The nervous system starts to adapt, the brain starts to adapt. The body is literally asking us to live differently. And perhaps that's why so many women suddenly find themselves unable to keep living in exactly the same way as they always have. The space that once felt sustainable now feels exhausting. The people pleasing that once felt manageable becomes draining. The endless giving becomes, it just feels impossible. Not because women become weaker, but because the body begins to ask for something different. You've got more priorities, different priorities. One thing I've observed in my own life and lives of countless women I've worked with is how comfortable it can be to disappoint other people. Many of us were praised for being dependable, reliable, always available, always saying yes. Many women wear that as a badge of honor until one day the body says, I can't do this anymore. And perhaps menopause isn't creating selfishness. Perhaps it's creating honesty. What does ancient wisdom talk about? Across many cultures, life has long been understood as a series of seasons: spring, summer, autumn, winter. Not better, not worse, simply different. In many wisdom traditions, the years after childbirth weren't viewed as a decline in value. They represented a shift in purpose, from constantly doing to deeper knowing, from constantly providing to guiding, from external achievement to inner wisdom. This doesn't mean every ancient culture treated women equally. Many didn't, but across different traditions, we do find a recurring idea that later life invites reflection, discernment, and a different kind of leadership. Now, let's talk about something many women recognize immediately: the invisible mental load. Remembering birthdays, booking appointments, buying gifts, organizing family gatherings, get togethers, knowing where everything is, managing everyone's expectations, everyone's emotions, holding everything together. So much of this work is invisible. It often goes unnoticed. And over years, even decades, it becomes exhausting. Sometimes women don't even realize how much they're carrying until they begin to put it down. A woman once told me, I realized I was saying yes to things I didn't even want to do anymore. Coffee dates, volunteering, family obligations, hosting everyone for Christmas. She wasn't resentful, she was simply tired. So she started asking herself one question before agreeing to everything: does this still fit the woman I am becoming? Not will people approve, not will anyone be upset, simply, does this still fit with the woman I'm becoming? She told me that question changed her life. Sometimes women worry about changing. That changing might just mean that they're becoming more selfish, less caring, less generous. I don't see it that way. Letting go isn't giving up, it's just making space. When a tree sheds its leaves, do we ever say it's failing? We understand it's preparing for the next season. Nature doesn't cling to what no longer belongs. Perhaps we can learn something from that. Psychologists have long recognized that midlife often becomes a period of reflection. People begin to ask questions such as, how do I want to spend the next 20 or 30 years of my life? What matters most to me? What kind of relationships do I want? What do I not want from my life anymore? Or what can I not tolerate anymore? These aren't signs of crisis, these are often signs of growth. Menopause doesn't necessarily create these questions, but it often creates the pause in which we finally hear them. I sometimes think we have misunderstood the word transformation. We often imagine becoming something completely different. But perhaps real transformation isn't about becoming someone new. Perhaps it's about becoming more fully ourselves, removing the masks, removing the expectations, the performance, returning back to what has always been there. Perhaps this isn't becoming, perhaps it's just remembering who I am. I would love to leave you with a simple reflection. Imagine meeting your younger self, the woman you were at 25, 35, 40. What would she be proud of? What would she thank you for? And what might she gently encourage you to let go of? Perhaps there's a role you've outgrown. Perhaps there's an expectation that no longer belongs to you. Perhaps there's permission you've been waiting for someone else to give you. But maybe today you can give that permission to yourself. One of the core ideas behind this podcast is that menopause isn't simply about managing symptoms. It's about creating health for the decades ahead. Physical health, emotional health, purpose, meaning to your life, longevity. And sometimes the healthiest thing we can do isn't just by adding something else, like maybe adding another supplement, adding another habit. Sometimes it just might simply mean releasing something we've carried for years: resentment, perfectionism, constant busyness, the need to please everyone, the belief that our worth depends on how much we do for others. So today I would like to leave you with one final question. What are you carrying that your future self no longer needs? Not because someone else told you to let it go, but because you have quietly realized it yourself. It no longer fits. Perhaps menopause isn't asking us to become something different. Perhaps it's inviting us to come home back to ourselves. Thank you for joining me for episode 4 of Menopause Reimagined. In our next episode, we'll shift back to the body and explore something every woman should understand as she moves through midlife: strength, resilience, and the female body. Because one of the greatest myths about aging is that becoming older inevitably means becoming weaker. Science tells us a very different story, and it's one that every woman deserves to hear. Until next time, be kind to yourself, to your body. Be gentle with your expectations. And remember, sometimes growth doesn't begin by adding more. Sometimes it just begins with having the courage to let go of something that no longer serves you. Before we finish today, I'd love to invite you to become part of the Menopause Reimagined community. This is more than a podcast. It's a movement to change the conversation around menopause, from one of a confusion and survival to one of knowledge, confidence, and possibility. And if you enjoyed today's episode, I would be so grateful if you could follow the podcast, leave a review, and share it with another woman who might need to hear this conversation. Together, we can reimagine what menopause looks and feels like for ourselves and the future generations. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember, menopause isn't the end of your story. It may just be the beginning of your most empowered chapter. Take care.